We would use Output Design Longitudinal Gradient for designing features such as access ramps and haul roads. That is, features which hug the side of an existing slope but go down longitudinally at a fixed gradient. Now, if you want to follow this exercise yourself, then you can find this survey, which is called Excavation, in the folder Surveys, Test Data, Ground. And if I give you an idea of what it is this survey looks like, let me just draw a line across there. So here we see the top of an excavation, which starts here on this green line, so that's that point there. We then have a 1-in-1 slope which runs down to a bench, and then we have another slope, a 1-in-1 slope, which then ends at the base of the excavation. What I'm going to do is use the longitudinal gradient command to start an access road at the edge of the excavation and to run down at a fixed gradient hugging the side of this 1-in-1 slope until it hits this bench. And because this design is going to go into a new survey, then I type in a load file name, and remember, if you want the line to come back into the current survey, you don't define a load file at all, but also bear in mind that unless you hit Browse and select a new folder, this load file will go into the same folder as the currently open survey. We choose longitudinal gradient, and the slope that I want the access road to take longitudinally is going to be a horizontal ratio of -20. That's down, minus is down, 1-in-20. And I'll come on to the maintain options in a second. From my start, I'm going to offset 1 meter horizontally and then go down 1 meter. Link feature will be bottom of bank. Design to my right. Do not design a closed loop and do not miter corners. Now I'm not going to use whole string. I don't want an access road all the way around the outside. So change the mode to 2-point string. Choose my starting point, and I could go from start to finish in one go if I wanted to, but I'm just showing you the process here. So I'm just going to go point to point, and as soon as I digitize the third point, I'll just turn off the active cursor, you will see the beginning of the design. So that first point is 1 meter offset horizontally and 1 meter offset vertically, and it will always be one stage behind because it doesn't know where I'm going next, so it can't create the corners until I've gone round that corner. This line is just remaining parallel. Now that's maybe not what you want. Escape will complete that design, and the reason why that line has remained parallel to the reference line is that we chose the option horizontal offset, i.e. the slope varies, that's the longitudinal slope may vary, but the offset stays the same. Well, that's not what I want. If I go back, this time I select side slope. Now this is going to be different in that the longitudinal gradient will be down by 1-in-20, but it will maintain this 1-in-1 offset element as we digitize along the feature. But it will start off with that initial 1 meter horizontal, 1 meter vertical offset value. Let's zoom out again. Find the start, and again we'll do it in stages. There you go. It started off 1 meter offset and is now getting further away from the reference line because it's sliding down that slope. It is going at a 1-in-1 ratio horizontally and a 1-in-20 longitudinally. Now we want it to hit this bench. Now this is quite tricky because the design is always a couple of digitized points behind. We're never quite sure when it's going to reach the bench. Let's go to the end and then escape. And you will see that it has almost reached the bench, so I haven't quite gone far enough here. Let's go back. This time I'm going to try side slope with no initial offset, and this will be different from the previous example, in that the start will be exactly at the digitized point with no 1 meter horizontal offset. This time I'm going to go a little bit further with this design and then escape, and you will see it has now reached the bench. What you can also do is change the maximum interval. If I change it now to 4 meters, back to the beginning, you will see it creating many more points along the design, and it's also closer to the digitized point, so I've got a better idea of how it's progressing along that design. Escape, and it's now past the bench edge. I'm now going to save and load the survey. And over display the original excavation survey. You see at this point it met the bench, so therefore all of these points should be removed. So I'm just going to remove them point by point, and there you have it. Perfect ramp design which intersects with the bench, and this line is running at a 1 in 20 slope down the side of the excavation. You could then use this as the reference line for a template or a sidewall design to create a haul road with safety barriers and intercept slopes with the original quarry excavation survey.